Greetings, dear friends. In Reviz AI, let me introduce you to the functionality of our program, what you can do here and how. We are currently in the editing window. This is the main window where you will be working. Here we have the number of credits you currently have. And next, we have 3 functions that you can take advantage of right now. This is upscale, material transfer, and style transfer. Upscale is our image detail enhancement. Material transfer is the transfer of a specific texture, replacing certain textures on an object and specific elements. While style transfer involves changing an image, visualizing it based on a reference image. Let's start with upscale and I'll show you how to work with it using an example image. First, we simply need to just upload an image. PNG and JPEG files are accepted. For example, let's take one of the examples as an illustration. For instance, let us consider this very tiny little dragon. You see, the image quality here is actually poor. It was generated in one of the other neural networks. You can easily improve any photograph that you want. And effectively, what other settings are available here? Scale factor. Here you can achieve specific image enhancements for certain details. Without further upscale, as the resolution will remain the same. This is more applicable for images that are already good, but you need to refine some elements. In any case, I usually recommend selecting 2x, 4x, or 8x, where image enhancement occurs, its resolution increases, and thus the level of detail improves. Therefore, I recommend starting with 2x or 4x. Now, for example, we will take 4x. Next, the auto prompt. What is the auto prompt? When you can use the automatic image description that you submitted, there are 2 modes, fast and best. The fast mode will generate a prompt with specific individual words, while the best mode will create a more detailed prompt and a more extensive description. If not, we write the prompt manually, and in this case, we have set a short default prompt that essentially fits almost every image without exception. We can do without it. Now we will keep the best image and see what comes of it. Essentially, the neural network itself should describe that there is a city, a dragon, and so on. Next, we have the settings for creativity and resemble. Creativity refers to the level of creativity of the neural network itself. I recommend setting it between 0.20 and 0.60 with the default set at 0.40. If it's the first image, I suggest not adjusting it. Here is this setting, and then based on that, if you want more creativity, set it to around 0.5, a maximum of 0.6. If you want less, well, either 0.1 or 0.2, I would reduce it to a maximum of 0.2. Again, it all depends on your tasks, so you need to experiment and see which result works best for you. Resemble refers to the ratio of the input image to the generated output image, indicating how much we want to retain from the original image, so that it does not remove or add too many elements, ensuring maximum correspondence. Here, it can be set up to 1, but it is better to keep it between 0.6 and 0.9. I would recommend a maximum of that range. Or if you wanted to change somewhere around 0.4, that's possible. Again, I recommend leaving them as we set them by default. Next, we have the model selection. We currently have 2 models, Model 1 and Model 2. In the future, we may name them differently, but for now, you can start with Model 1 and also take a look at Model 2. You may not see significant differences, but Model 1 is a more universal format, so we start with it. Next, we have the seed parameter, which is more for those who want to modify based on preserving certain elements and the structure of the image itself. Honestly, If you are creating a single image, you don't need to check this random option. We start with randomness, and later in other lessons, I will show how to work more with the seed. I'll show you with an example. At the very beginning, I don't recommend setting any seed here yet. In any case, we start with randomness. We send it for upscale, and after just a few more seconds, we get this amazing result. Look at this. In my opinion, it is really amazing. He improved it a bit more. Do you see the house? The house. He greatly detailed and improved many aspects in a very detailed manner. The picture has indeed definitely become significantly better and more colorful. This is how upscale works in a simple and effective way, and you can create very interesting images and enhance them. What else can be done here? How do you save it? With the right mouse button. The right mouse button works. You can click on Download Result and your image will be saved. We also have functions like Create Mask here, where we can modify specific elements only, such as specific elements like pixels or regions. For example, let's take a look. Here we have a polygonal lasso, and there is Get Segmentation. Get Segmentation is when we choose a neural network that segments and selects specific elements by itself. So we needed to do this. For example, let's take a bit more details about this particular example of a simple dragon. Now, only the upscale of our green dragon will specifically be done, not the entire image. The process will be carefully done. And in this case, we can simply write, for example, green dragon and send it to upscale. Send to upscale and send to upscale alone. Thus, we will now have an enhancement of this image, plus replacing it with another light. You see, it will actually turn from red into some kind of green. If you do not want to change the lighting solution or the image itself, simply just leave our prompt as default. You select a specific segment that you need to create and choose the auto prompt No. Everything else you select according to your preference in the settings and send it for upscale. This way, you will have an upscale image of just the area you need. There is also the option to upscale everything, except for, you see, right? So everything else remains as it is. But the dragon has slightly improved and has also become green instead of red. The same can be done with the rest. We also have mask inversion, which means that what we did by highlighting some segmentation can be referred to as mask inversion. And send it as well, for instance, as well as, for example, without this. You can click on Best, and it will determine itself and on Upscale. Now we will have this dragon left, but everything else should improve. In this way you can adjust specific areas that you want to change, such as brightness, contrast, or color balance, which elements of the image you want to keep, such as the background, foreground, or specific objects, and so on. Here, it all depends on your creativity, and additionally, in our lessons, I will show you as much as possible how to use everything so that you can apply it in your projects. We are currently in the process of performing an upscale of the remaining image, so that you can clearly see this particular version of the detailed segmentation. If you want to segment a very specific and detailed area, we will now use the lasso function, after we have completed everything from this particular function. Here you can see that our dragon remains as it is, while indeed everything else has improved. This is essentially how the process of segmenting with a mask works. In the process, essentially, if you want to improve or detail a specific area, for example a polygonal section, we want to enhance just this particular area in a more detailed and comprehensive manner. To simply and precisely mark, we double-click the mouse and our area is easily fixed. Now we can remove the mask inversion here, and we have this area. I don't know what will come of it, because it's unlikely he will see anything clearly right now, but at least let's set it to 2x to make it faster. And thus, you can also work on certain rectangular areas or specific sections using exactly that. And we can see this is exactly the area that we wanted to improve. You see, everything else remains as it is, but this area has been processed as much as possible. This is how our mask works, and when you are making selections with the mask for specific areas, I recommend also enabling mask retouching. This will specifically retouch and smooth out these areas, because the selection of elements in the image still does not provide maximum clarity, especially for such fine lines. Therefore, to ensure that there are no strong breaks in your original image, make sure to check the mask retouching option. To remove the selected mask, we need to click on Reset in order to use the entire image. After you have created the image and want to use it again, for example, to make it even more upscale, you need to click on Set as Input Image. You can then proceed to make further adjustments or enhancements as needed. And you will already be working with the image that has been generated in our neural network, and you can continue to work with it using other functions or also in upscale. This is how upscale works for us. Now I will show you how to work with material transfer and steel transfer in a faster format, so that you can also work with them in more detail. Let's talk in detail and thoroughly in our other training lessons about the intricacies of our neural network. Let me show you how material transfer works. For example, we want to change this little house. Now we will first make it upscale so you can understand, and I will show you the change in texture using material transfer in the upscale format. Here I have created an upscale image, and now with this upscale I will show you our further functions of material transfer and style transfer. We create it, taking this image to work with it further and furthermore. We select a mask, for example, Get Segmentation, and we will now choose the dragon itself, which we will modify using material transfer and style transfer by overlaying different elements. Transfer by overlaying different elements. As you can see, it won't always select well, so in this case it would actually be better to actually choose it specifically using lasso. Let's choose a small house for the example for now, so that we can understand how it all works. For the example for now. Segmentation is done using a neural network. From Meta, just like in other neural networks. This improves segmentation, but in any case, you see, like in any neural network, it will have its own defects. What do we do here? So, we click on Material Transfer, select a texture, any texture. You can even choose a texture here. Let's just pick any car. There is also one setting called Fit Strange, which determines how much the final original element structure should remain. I recommend keeping it at 0.9 on standard, and then if you don't like something, you can either lower it, or on the contrary, increase it to the maximum. Let's send it to material transfer now, and see what the result will be. And here is the result we got. You see, it took the green lines from here, the green light itself. Well, essentially, I applied it as much as possible. Material transfer is more suitable for homogeneous elements or objects. So if you want to change the wall, the floor in the interior, or the car's upholstery, for example, yes, and in these cases, material transfer will be the best option. Plus, I will provide a few examples to give you an understanding. What do we do next? Look, there is also the style transfer format. It works in a similar way, but differently. It already overlays certain elements from the reference image. Let's also take a reference image now, right over here, this car. To understand how this works, we have several settings already properly and thoroughly configured here in order to achieve the desired outcome. There is an adaptive mode. It can be set to off or on. What is it? This is essentially the configuration of the neural network, which provides a specific ratio of the reference image to the object we define in our neural network. I recommend starting it in such a way that it correlates as much as possible. You don't need to delve too deeply into how it works technically. Here you just need to look at the result, whether it's on or off. Next, you can write the prompt here that you want to be more detailed and specific. In general, working with prompts is a separate story, and it is also present in our service, but it works well with the enhancement of words and so on. Therefore, it is also essential to work with the prompt as much as possible. We will also do our utmost to assist you in this, so that you achieve the best possible results. Strange style. What is it? It is precisely the relationship of the style, how much one needs to take elements from the style in our final result. Here you can start with, for example, 0.40 as it is. If you want more, you can set it to 1. What is the structure of strange? It is precisely to ensure that this little house remains exactly as it is, and therefore the larger it is, the better it will indeed be. I recommend starting from 1.2 and seeing what the result will be with that ratio. In each different task, the result will be different, so let's see how it will turn out for you. We just click on transfer style and simply see what we get. And then here is the result we finally achieved. The transfer style works best in interior and architectural solutions. You can find more examples of the teletransfer in our social media. I use it extensively and demonstrate how to work with it, so we will be showing more examples with it. Here you see, he changed it, took the green light, the yellow light, adjusted what we have here in terms of lighting and in our picture. So he maximally adapts it to what we have here. Next, this image definitely needs to be sent to upscale, so that everything is more detailed and not in a blurred format. This is how our artificial neural network works, briefly, in a nutshell. Of course, you need to practice and take a look. I'm sure you'll do great. Everything will be awesome. If there are any questions, we should reach out to the support team and get answers, so that everything works out for you and you continue to use our services. Our tool is designed to do everything possible for you, making it easier, simpler, and faster to work on your projects and process your images. Thank you all. We will be here.